Thanks to Abe, Shauna, Jackson, Tahira, General Monroe, all of his family for sharing Bryan with us all these years. Bryan was immensely proud of all of you, and rightfully so. So let me go back to circa 2000. Will Sutton was NABJ's president, and he, along with Condis Presley and I, as the two vice presidents, we were in a DC area conference room with several other NABJ members and staff there to discuss how to elevate NABJ's website. This was back when the internet was still in its infancy. At some point during the meeting, a man's voice came booming through a telephone speaker. He was dialing in from the West Coast, back when this was still quite unusual, long before Zoom. And this voice bellowed with such incredible clarity about how NABJ should do this about the website, how it should do that. Who was this man, I wanted to know. I was in awe of his confidence and intelligence. I hoped that I would get to hear that voice again. Well, as the saying goes, be careful what you ask for, because over the next 20 years, everyone at NABJ would hear Bryan's voice. As he pushed us all to be better journalists, as he pushed us all to be better Black journalists, as he pushed us all to be better journalists of color, all in the service of NABJ, and also Unity Journalists of Color. And as he would always say, in the service of journalism as an industry, and most importantly, in the service of our communities. So I got to hear his voice almost every day during my time as NABJ president from 2003 to 2005, when he was vice president of print. Well, I always wasn't sure at the time. Yes, there were days when I wanted to say, and this is putting it mildly, Bryan, please stop talking. Yes, you may be right. Of course you are right. Okay, you're right as usual. No question, I'm eternally grateful for his coaching and mentorship, as much for his friendship and brotherhood. Bryan was my younger brother, who acted like he was the older one. I still govern myself by leadership lessons Bryan taught me. I'm not trying to survive in journalism. I'm trying to thrive. You can be absolutely right and still be absolutely wrong. Always play out the videotape before making decisions. What is the problem you're trying to solve? Bryan always thought big picture, and he did so as NABJ president. And that was from 2005 to 2007, when he consistently advocated for more coverage of underrepresented communities and for journalists of color to have greater opportunities in newsrooms. But he also pushed NABJ to extend its influence internationally. And we could talk all night about how, as president, Bryan helped to force the ouster of Don Imus from his syndicated radio show after the shock jock had racially and shamefully disparaged the Rutgers University women's basketball team. And yet, for many Black journalists, Bryan's professional accolades paled in comparison to the humanity he exuded in countless measures over the years. I won't soon forget how, the night he died, how 24 of us spent nearly 3 hours remembering Bryan on a Zoom call. It was incredibly joyous and heartbreaking, loving and cathartic, emotional and resolving for us to recall his friendship, his spirit, his encouragement, his generosity, his confidence, his leadership, his vision, his hugs, his love for his family, and yes, his willingness to pick up a check for expensive meals and alcohol. My hope was that Bryan and I would grow old together as past NABJ presidents, seeing each other at annual conventions and continuing to mentor future journalism and organization leaders. But he was the youngest of the 6 past NABJ presidents to pass away. So he's sitting on the heavenly board of directors alongside the groundbreaking journalists Chuck Stone, Vernon Jarrett, Les Payne, Tom Morgan, and Sid Mel Estes. No doubt, just as he did for so many of us over the years, Bryan is showing them how to use the latest digital technologies, the technology that we won't know about for still years to come. Rest in peace, my brother, Bryan Monroe. Thank you so much.